Close your eyes and listen. Can you feel that rhythmic, microscopic thump against your thumb as you scroll? That's your pulse hitting the haptic sensors of your smartphone. At this very second, your biometric data is being fed into a high-frequency algorithm that knows your impulse threshold better than you know your own name. Why is it that in 2026, losing 5 years of your future autonomy feels as insignificant as a notification? Does the digital silence of your evaporating wealth scream louder than the luxury status symbols you bought to drown it out? I'm Philly, your mental surgeon. I'm here to stitch the hemorrhaging financial leak in your prefrontal cortex before you bleed out. You didn't click for tips, you clicked to survive. Scrub in, we're opening up the skull of the global consumer. Look at your digital dashboard. It is a war zone. You are not losing money because of bad luck or a bad market. You are losing it to a systemic financial self-sabotage architecture. In this hyper-connected era, you are paying a monthly existence tax for AI personal assistants you don't talk to, health monitoring rings that only tell you you're sleep deprived, and automated grocery replenishments that decide what you eat before you're even hungry. Every $19.99 pro tier is a brick in the wall of your own prison. You feel optimized, but you're just a cash cow being milked by 1,000 micro-algorithms. This is the toxic psychology of money in its purest form, making you pay for the privilege of your own domestic imprisonment. Your brain is currently under a high-frequency neuro attack. Think of your millionaire mindset as a fortress. In the 2026 market dynamics, the choice architecture of the web isn't designed to give you options. It's designed to bypass your logical filters. We are moving into a predictive finance era where the system knows you're going to spend before the urge even reaches your conscious mind. This is an executive function heist. You aren't choosing these expenses. You are experiencing a biological short circuit triggered by platforms that have mapped your dopamine pathways better than you have. The average professional today leaks roughly $1,400 a month into these digital traps and impulsive micro-subscriptions. Redirecting that $1,400 into a diversified wealth fund at an 8% return would yield $785,000 over 20 years. That is nearly $1 million, the price of a decade of your life, sacrificed because you were too tired to cancel an AI bot in your 30s. You are literally working until you are 70 to pay for a premium life you don't even have time to enjoy. The neural firewall is the only way to stop this bleed. But before I give you the code, we have to address the gangrene in your portfolio that is rotting your resilient millionaire mindset from the inside out. We need to talk about the hold that is actually a hole. You're still holding that legacy tech stock or that DeFi token that dropped 65% last quarter, aren't you? You tell yourself you're holding for the long term, but in reality, your stomach feels like it's filled with hot lead every time the market opens. You are watching your children's future dissolve because you are too terrified to admit you were wrong. You aren't an investor. You are an ego hostage waiting for a bounce that the 2026 market has already calculated will never happen. This is the most common of all money mistakes to avoid: the refusal to accept that your conviction is actually just a delusion. This is primitive loss aversion. Your brain processes a financial loss in the same neural pathways as a physical amputation. To your amygdala, selling at a loss feels like cutting off your own hand. So you stay in the trade. You watch the gangrene spread from the hand to the arm and eventually to the torso. You are sacrificing your entire wealth-building potential to avoid a temporary sting of being wrong. You are choosing a slow, agonizing bankruptcy over a sharp, strategic cut. You are essentially paying the market to let you keep your pride while it takes your house. By refusing to take a $5,000 loss today, you lock your remaining capital in a stagnant asset, while the rest of the market moves at high asset appreciation velocity. Over 5 years, the opportunity cost of your pride is roughly $195,000. That is the price of your ego. Your hope is a tax on your future that costs you a decade of autonomy. You are trading $195,000 for the privilege of not having to tell your spouse you made a bad trade. We can perform a neural re-anchoring to turn that pain into a strategic signal, but even with a perfect anchor, you are still vulnerable to the status obesity trap that is currently being deployed by the 2026 social credit algorithms. The system knows you want to look rich more than you want to be rich. Look at your circle. In 2026, status isn't just about cars, it's about digital signaling. You're spending thousands on elite retreats and social credit optimization because you're terrified of being de-indexed by your professional peer group. You are buying a seat at a table where everyone is wearing a mask, and the bill for that table is your financial freedom. You are suffering from status obesity, looking massive on the outside, while your bank account is anemic and on life support. This is aggressive financial self-sabotage disguised as networking. This is the conformity tax. Your brain is hardwired to fear exile from the tribe more than death. The toxic psychology of money has been weaponized against you. Marketing geniuses have convinced you that your worth is tied to your visibility. You are in an arms race where the only winner is the platform charging you for the weapons. You are a hacked victim, spending your surplus to maintain a reputation that doesn't even belong to you. You are building a palace of straw while the wind is picking up. The status tax for the average high earner in 2026 is approximately 25% of their take-home pay. Over a decade, that is $500,000. You are trading your soul to impress people who are just as terrified and broke as you are. You are building someone else's skyscraper while you sleep in a rented life. That $500,000 represents 15,000 days of absolute freedom that you just handed over to a luxury car lease and a country club membership. The only way to win is to become financially invisible. I will show you how to vanish from the status arms race without losing your career. But first, I need to show you the scars from my own operation. I need you to see what happens when the surgeon becomes the patient. I want you to see the blood on my own hands. 18 months ago, I almost lost everything. Not because I didn't know the millionaire mindset rules, but because I forgot I was a biological machine. I was coming off a 72-hour deep work sprint. My executive function was at a terminal level. I saw a flash opportunity in a synthetic energy market. Every alarm bell in my head was screaming, "Trap." But my tired brain wanted the dopamine hit to justify my exhaustion. I wanted to win because I was too tired to think. I clicked. I didn't just invest. I doubled down on a leverage position. In 42 minutes, I watched $180,000, money meant for my firm's expansion, vanish. I felt that snot-cold sweat. I felt the nausea that makes you want to crawl into a dark room and never come out. Why? Because I let my System 1 primitive brain take the wheel. I wasn't just losing dollars. I was losing my sense of identity. I had to realize that my desire for quick wins was a virus. I tell you this because I am still healing from the same wounds. I don't speak from a pedestal. I am on the same operating table as you. You think you're failing at life? No, you are a hacked victim. The apps on your phone are designed by neuroscientists whose only job is to bypass your rational thought. They have turned the global economy into a slot machine, and they've convinced you that you're the player, when in reality, you are the fuel. The house always wins because the house owns the software in your head. The behavioral finance of 2026 is designed to make financial freedom look like a toxic myth so that you stay in the loop. They want you focused on passive income fairy tales so you don't notice the active theft of your time. They have weaponized loss aversion so you never sell their dying assets. They have weaponized your social anxiety so you never stop spending on their status symbols. They have created a world where it is expensive to be poor and suicidal to be middle class. You now know how the subscription cascade bleeds you. You've seen how neural exhaustion turns you into a puppet. You've felt the pain of my $180,000 failure. Now we install the neural firewall. This is the part where we stop the bleeding and start the reconstruction. If you ignore this, the next market correction in 2026 will execute you. This is the blueprint for the millionaire mindset in a world designed to keep you broke. 1. The 24-hour friction lock. In 2026, everything is one click. To survive, you must manually reintroduce friction. Any purchase over $500 must be preceded by a physical, handwritten justification. The act of handwriting engages the rational prefrontal cortex, breaking the impulse loop. If you can't justify the spend on paper, you're not buying, you're reacting. This is the first step to stopping financial self-sabotage. 2. The subscription autopsy. Every 30 days, perform a hard reset on your digital spending. Cancel everything. If the service is truly essential, you will feel the friction of its absence and resubscribe. If it was just a phantom drain, you just gave yourself a 15% raise. Stop letting algorithms decide your monthly burn rate. This is one of the most vital money mistakes to avoid. 3. The identity arbitrage. Stop acting your wage. The true millionaire mindset is built on identity arbitrage, the ability to earn like a 1%er but live like a 10%er. By refusing the conformity tax, you gain the most valuable asset in the world, optionality, the ability to walk away from any deal, any boss, and any crisis. This is the only way to reach financial freedom in 2026. 4. The Grief Point Blueprint. Before you enter any trade, you must write down the exact dollar amount where you will walk away. You decide in the light so you don't fail in the dark. Once the grief point is hit, the neural firewall executes the sell. No hoping, no diamond handing. Just math. Master your loss aversion before it masters you. Semantic ceiling check. This is the path to a resilient millionaire mindset. By understanding the toxic psychology of money, you stop chasing fragile financial freedom and start building actual wealth. You must master these fatal money mistakes to avoid before the next 2026 algorithm update makes it impossible to even see the exit. Stop the aggressive financial self-sabotage now, or continue being the fuel for someone else's engine. We've stitched the hemorrhage. You have the firewall and the arbitrage protocol. But remember, the firewall fails if your battery is dead. As I warned in my decision fatigue video, predators strike when you're depleted. If you haven't mastered your neural energy, today's surgery won't hold. But don't relax. A silent assassin lurks in the 2026 biodigital loop. It doesn't target your money. It targets your ability to perceive value. It's called cognitive inflation. The reason $1 million can still leave you starving. The surgery on your wealth is done. The surgery on your desire begins in 60 seconds. Stay in the theater. The next incision is the deepest.